us on a transformative journey through our Woman to Woman March series, challenging stereotypes and exploring the essence of womanhood. Join us every Friday at 3 p.m. as we unravel the unexpected in leadership, fitting in, fashion, finance, and beyond. Get ready to rethink everything that you thought you knew about being a woman.
I remember back in primary school when my mom would give me pocket money, I would save it, and every weekend I would want to go to the shops and buy at least one fashion
item. Don't tell us, really?
Yes.
It comes as young as that.
Yes.
But of course, you had the example of your mom.
Yes. I used to be a person that really liked colorful clothes growing up. And when I was going through the most, I just realized one day when I opened my wardrobe that I'm full of black things.
We are women. It means that we are brave, strong, capable, unique. We are Woman to Woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Friday, very exciting show. As we said last week, when we talk about women, we cannot detach ourselves from fashion. And today, we are going to give you a very good sense of what fashion is all about and how do we, Christian women, find ourselves in the midst of the fashion industry being bombarded by tendencies, trends, and opinions out there. How do we recon our position in a way that we are accepted, but also we can show through the way that we carry ourselves and through the way that we dress up that we belong to God? Toku can speak about that, someone who was a former model.
Yes, fashion has become something that you can't, in my time, I don't think I would even dress the way people dress. Yes, there were things that I would dress, but they were not so appropriate. But nowadays, it's even worse. I think even before the program, Miss Massa was telling us about what she saw.
Ooh, that was graphic.
She was traumatized, actually. Nowadays, it's even worse. People go almost naked. So today, we are going to talk about fashion, and we are not against fashion, but you will hear more. I don't want to go deeper. You are just going to hear more, and then you will conclude and judge for yourself.
Lest you know that the way that you present yourself speaks a lot about who you are. And sometimes there is this miscommunication by the way that you dress and really who you are and the image you want to show to people. So today, we don't bring only a friend. We are blessed in the studios today to have a professional in the fashion industry.
My name is Mbalenhle Mncube. I studied fashion design and entrepreneurship at Lysof. From a very young age, I think I've always amazed myself with whatever that was happening within the fashion industry, because I've been surrounded by a lot of women who were fashion driven from my family background. And I think I used to look at my mom applying makeup, the things she wears, my sister, even when my mom would go buy us clothes, she would always make us pick what is it that we want. And I remember in most cases, whatever that I would pick, people wouldn't like, but whatever that my mom would pick, people would really like. And I think my love for fashion began there, to the point where I remember back in primary school when my mom would give me pocket money, I would save it, and every weekend I would want to go to the shops and buy at least one fashion item.
Don't tell us, really? Yes. It comes as young as that.
Yes.
But of course, you had the example of your mom.
Yes.
Would you have any limitations, or your mom would say you cannot wear these, or you should not wear these, you have to wear in this way, or you were free?
My mom has always allowed us to be free. If she didn't like something herself, she'll be like, no, you cannot wear that. But in most cases, she would like something and she would say, you're young, go ahead, get it, enjoy, wear whatever you want, you're just young. I don't think people will be really focusing of whether you're wearing a short or not. At the end of the day, you're young. And I think that really gave me freedom. But because I started at the church, age, at a very young age, for me, it was really hard to actually distinguish what was right and what was not right. For a very long time, I thought God didn't care about fashion. Fashion has nothing to do with God. To the point where, even in my prayer, I would mention nothing with fashion. I always thought God looks at your heart, looks at your inside. He absolutely has nothing with what you wear.
How do you see the youth today trying to present themselves in a way that they think they just calling attention, but they are sending the wrong message? Have you been to that stage?
I think people express themselves mostly with how they wear. Because I remember back in fashion school, you could clearly tell a person's personality by how they wear. But at some point, I do believe that it's a way of them escaping, because there was a point in my life, in as much as this was my passion, there was a point in my life, it was my escape. There was a time where I went through a lot of hardship in my life, and I think fashion was the way of escaping everything, because I remember it was locked down and all I would do was sit and sketch. I'll be on Pinterest checking what's trending, what is it that I can buy. If I'm not checking fashion, if I'm not doing anything that's related to fashion, I'll be doing my face. I was just trying to escape everything that I was going through.
But it was not really just the passion for the industry. It was to deal with something much deeper that was inside of you. So you relate to the fact that sometimes women, they express what goes on inside of them through the way that they dress.
Yes, most of the time that's the case. And that's why you find out, I used to be a person that really liked colorful clothes growing up. And when I was going through the most, I just realized one day when I opened my wardrobe that I'm full of black things. And it was a shock to me that this is how I would come across every day. Every day I would see something colorful and I'll push it aside and be like, I want to wear something dark, because that's how I felt at that time. But in my transitioning of getting better, I started realizing that now there's more color within my wardrobe. So it is true, in most cases we do express ourselves with how we wear.
Is the psychology of color, isn't that? And today, coincidentally, I'm wearing black.
Me too.
And it's not a problem. But those who follow us, you know that I like colors. And why?
Yeah.
Because during the time that I went through the hardships I've been through, the abuse, I wanted not to be noticed. So I made a point that I would wear black, brown, and beige, not even white. And I didn't understand why, but it was a way to express, to exteriorize what was going on inside. Of course, after coming to Jesus and after having a renew and all that, it's very rare that I'm wearing black or only black. I need to put some color together, because now it does not match with me anymore. That way of being heavily dressed in black. Today is a coincidence, but you don't do it as your everyday.
It's no longer my everyday, not unless I feel like I want to wear black, then I wear it. Not because of I actually want to escape whatever it is that I'm going through. And like you said, in most cases is I don't want people to pay attention to me, to the point where I wouldn't even wear makeup so that people don't pay attention to me. Like, I wanted to be hidden. I felt like when walking outside, everyone knew what I was going through. Everyone could see what was happening inside. And for some reason, black clothes were some sort of comfort. It felt like when I'm wearing like this, I'm hiding myself behind everything.
Are you comfortable to speak about a little bit of your inner challenges at that stage?
I think it was mostly, I would say it was the loss of my very close family members and not having time to actually grieve for them. I think in each and every season when it would happen, and it happened at a very close stage, each and every time when it would happen, I'll be like, no, because I remember when it happened, I was in grade 11. When the first one happened, I was in grade 11 and I was like, there's no time to grieve. I need to go to matric so that I could fulfill my dreams of becoming a designer one day. And when I was in matric, and then I went to my first year, and then my first year it was my brother, and I was like, there's no time to grieve. I need to pass and push and go forward. And then I think things became really worse, to the point where everywhere I would go, even in the Texas, people would stop me and be like, "Are you okay? Your face seems different." And I think for me, that's when I had to take a decision and be like, no, this is not how I can represent God. If I say I'm a child of God, it needs to show to people that I'm a child of God. I cannot be a child of God, but everyone, even people that don't even know that I'm a child of God, are worried about me.
So it was that visible that everybody could see that something is wrong?
Yes, it was extremely visible. I think I had to sit down and reflect on, when did it start? What happened for me to be here? Because I believe that you can never solve a situation right where it is. You still need to find out when. And at that particular time, I was still an assistant and I was serving God. But I would even drag myself to wake up and go to church, because I felt like even inside the church, they could see what was happening.
Yeah.
I would come very late and I would rush to leave, because I was like, before everyone could see me, I need to leave.
Yeah, because you didn't want people to be asking questions.
Yes.
How are you? Are you okay? And all that.
So in other words, you were grieving through the way that you were dressing up and the way you carried yourself.
Yes.
You didn't have time to grieve. So your presentation would be that mourning status that you wanted to have had with the passing of your family members. So that proves how much we can express what goes on inside of us by the way that we dress and by the way that we carry ourselves. First point to be noted. We are going to explore a little bit more about the fashion industry and how the fashion industry influences shoppers and women out there, so much so that we lose touch with our personality, with our likes, and who we are. Let us watch together.
After the break, fashion has been a lot more than just clothes being designed to be worn. It is one of the most profound forms of self-expression, a way to express our personality, and also impacts our mental health. The choices we make in our attire can impact our perception and influence how others understand us. Fashion psychology is a branch of applied psychology that studies the relationship between fashion and human behavior, such as how fashion affects emotion, self-esteem, and identity. Fashion is linked to self-expression. When we choose specific colors, styles, and sometimes even brands, we send out signals about who we are as a person and how we wish to be perceived. The fashion industry contributes greatly to the global economy. Approximately 80% of the fashion industry is concentrated in women's wear, menswear, and luxury goods. This industry has been steadily growing for many years. The fashion industry has had a profound influence on women. Some of the ways in which fashion has impacted the lives of women is in changing gender stereotypes. It does this by breaking the traditional norms and creating designs that allow women to express themselves more freely. However, there is a negative side to the impact of fashion industry on women. Fashion is often taken as a reference. Fashion models who advertise these fashion items are usually extremely thin, tan, and tall. This sets a negative standard for many women on what they should look like, and often causes self-esteem issues. This can result in body dissatisfaction, eating disorders, and other forms of self-harm. This is caused by the immense pressure to fit into current trends that are sold by many marketing campaigns on social media, resulting in women going against their own better judgment in an attempt to attain the impossible standard of beauty that is presented to the world.
Now we are going to understand where that professional side comes from, because we could clearly notice that from young age you had a passion for fashion. So much so you became a designer, you're that?
I never really noticed that it was a passion for fashion. I've always been interested into art, and for some reason I thought I was going to be a graphic designer. Fashion designer was actually my second option. But until a friend of mine told me about a design school, which was a varsity, and I remember she told me, I think she had someone who was talking about it in a saloon, and she knew my passion. She came to me running and she was like, I need to tell you this. There's this school, 1, 2, 3. I went straight to the internet and I was searching the name, and the name was actually incorrect. How I pronounce it, it was not how you write it. But for some reason it popped, and then I sent them the message and then they responded. The following day, I went there alone without my mom looking for that school. And the moment I set my foot there, that's when I was like, you know what? I don't want to do graphic design anymore. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going to follow.
So that our audience can clearly see that whatever we are going to speak, it's from the point of view of a professional. Because when I speak, it's our personal idea. But we brought you here so that you can help us to find the balance. So please introduce your academics and what you do today.
Like I said, that I studied fashion design. I have a couple of achievements within my career. The first achievement that I received, it was the first year fashion show. I was one of the winners. Not even one, I was the winner during that time. And then the second one that I've achieved, I was able to showcase with one of the biggest fashion industry here in South Africa with them for their menswear collection. And another one I was also able to showcase with another one, which is outside Gauteng. Another achievement that I have within the fashion industry, I was chosen also to design for one of the internationals. Although I studied fashion designer, I work as a graduate buyer for one of the biggest retailer in South Africa that's also trade abroad. A graduate buyer is actually different from a fashion designer. There's a fashion designer, you are within the fashion industry, and a buyer, you are within a retail industry, which is different. Whatever you buy as a buyer, you buy for retail stores. But as a fashion designer, in most cases, you buy for your own brand. You are the one that comes with your own inspiration. Whereas as a buyer, you follow what customer wants. Customers tell you, this is what I want, to the point where sometimes I'm even shocked that, do people really want this? Through data and analyzing fashion, as a buyer, you need to be able to understand what's happening within the trend industry, because at the end of the day, a lot of things that you even sell to your customers, it's things that you would never wear yourself. There are a lot of things that are trending. For example, I'll make an example with the striped tee. Everything that you walk around in the street now, it's stripes, 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 stripes. And that's what people want. Will it last? We don't know. Will it not last? There was a season where those baggy and ripped jeans were trending. Everyone wanted those. But before I was even in the retail industry, I always thought people behind the scene are just creating those things to sell. But in reality, as your customer tells you what they want, in most cases, they see it from celebrities, they see it on television. If it's trending in America, everyone in South Africa would want to wear it. And at the end of the day, you want to sustain your business. As a business, as a retailer, you'd give them what they want, because there's no point of having a retail store and all you have, it's things that people don't buy. But I'm not saying every retail store are like that. There are certain retail stores that have their own customer base, where they've created their identity of, this is what we're selling. Everything needs to be very discreet. This is who we are. This is our image as this retailer. And then there's a retailer for young people. And in as much as we might have young people who are from God, but the reality is the majority is not from God. And they want what they want.
Or maybe they are lost in the context of not knowing if they really want to be serious about, and sometimes not understanding what we're trying to pass it on today, that our image will speak louder than our own words sometimes, because first impressions
last. That's true. That's true, because the first thing that people see before you even speak, it's how you dressed.
Yeah.
They look at how you've applied your makeup. It doesn't matter whether it's expensive or not, but the
yes.
way you dress says a lot about you. Before you could enter the room, already someone can tell this is the kind of person. And sometimes you even become shocked when the person is different from how they're dressing. And that's when you really know that there's a problem. This person is not even expressing the person he is. He's being influenced by someone or something in his life.
So your working crisis to find not necessarily what is available out there, but what is out there, and there is a demand from the customers of this retailer. Is it hard sometimes for you to reconcile your job, fashion, and having to cater for the needs of these people and your own image, your own personality?
In the beginning, it was hard, but that was even before I was in this profession, because like I said, I couldn't differentiate the passion and the love that I had for fashion. In the beginning, it was really, really hard for me to find a balance of how and what is it that I should wear as a child of God. But I think by the time I was already in fashion, it was hard during the time when I was going through a lot, like I said. But I wasn't even into that fashion that much, because all that was in my mind, it was, I need to finish my studies. It is very expensive, so I don't have time to focus on anything, to the point where I had 5 leggings and 3 oversized t-shirts, and I would wear that almost every day to school.
Someone who was in the fashion industry.
But it was funny, because in as much as you were in the fashion industry, there were people who would wake up and come wearing pajamas because they were in style. During school hours, you'd be shocked at everything that you see. I don't even think people really even noticed that I was wearing those leggings because everyone was just driving their own bus to wherever they were going.
Now, for me, what I would like to know, because the industry you are in, it comes with a lot of challenges and it's easy for you to be influenced. How do you handle that?
I think one thing about me, and one thing I thank God with, is that I know who I am. Before anything else, I would never allow anyone to influence me in what I do not believe in, to the point where sometimes people would say I have pride. Because of that, at the end of the day, we have different values and we have different beliefs. I would never judge you from where you are from or what you believe in. And I would appreciate you if you would also respect that about me. I always come across as the person that I am. And at the end of the day, it's, if you accept me, it's fine. If you don't accept me, it's still fine. Even Jesus is not loved by all. And I'm not money. Since what is it that I would influence myself with? And that's when I need to stand up and correct myself. It's not mostly coming from people. No.
Something. Would you wear everything that you put on the catalog that you have to buy?
No, definitely no. 100% no. Some you don't even want to buy, but you just have to.
Yeah.
And
because you have an audience.
And the question Ms. Massa made is very interesting, because some, they give excuses. They say, no, I have to, I have to market it. I have to show to people, so I have to wear it. But you are saying, no, you wouldn't definitely wear, because you have boundaries, I think. I think it was a very good question for many people, because some, they give excuses. Even though they call themselves Christians, they're like, no, but I'm selling. They have to see it on me.
And I actually like the point that you just said, that it's just an excuse. You cannot wear everything that you sell at the end of the day. Then there wouldn't be other stores. It's like your shopping center. You can't buy everything from your own shopping center. What if you don't sell milk and someone else sells milk? You have to jump in and go get milk elsewhere. It doesn't matter who you are. And I always say this, even biggest brand and biggest designers, they don't only wear their clothes. You would never open the wardrobe and it's only what they sell. It's impossible.
That's important to mention, because there are some people out there who are so attached to a certain brand. I need to have everything from this brand. And the designer himself will not be so attached to that. And I think they rarely have something from their own brand. They are very simple and basic, right?
Yes, they're very simple and basic, most of them. You'd only see them in most cases wearing their brand if they're having like big occasion that is to represent their brand. But in most cases, they also value and love other people's brand.
Walk us a little bit about identifying your style.
That also was very challenging to me because I'm not going to lie, where even till today, whenever I buy an item, I would go and check, how do I wear this in a discreet way? I would check every idea possible, but I think also it has allowed me to understand the kind of way that I like to dress up. So it has become easy for me. It's something that you gradually have to adapt to it. There are some items till today that are in fashion that I really like, but I know that I cannot wear because they don't represent the child of God. But also there are items that are not even in fashion. But with me, what I've noticed is that whatever I buy in most cases, it needs to be sustainable more than it's fashion. I want to be able to wear what I bought the following year. And
Give them
4 years.
that difference, that understanding between fashionable and sustainable, classic and trendy. I think we can help them with this understanding.
Yes. Classic is something which is sustainable, something that you can wear anytime from now on. But fashion is something that is trendy, it's coming in and it's passing. That is why in most cases you find out that most retailers, when they sell fashion, it's not even in a good fabric because they know that someone is not going to be wearing this forever.
Yeah.
But something that's sustainable, you'd find it very expensive and in a very good quality because they know that chances of you buying this is for you to have it forever.
3 pieces of sustainable clothes.
Your blazer,
Write down, girls.
your core t-shirts, like the one
Yes,
that I'm
the one you're
wearing, and in most cases your denim jeans, your normal classic denim jeans.
Not ripped, not skinny.
Not ripped.
Not washed, stone washed.
Those
classic.
are fashion items.
Now, 3 items that are trending out there right now.
Your cropped striped tee, the very, very, very cropped one.
Yes.
Everyone wants it. Your graphic tees, the one that has a lot of images, a lot of
yeah.
graphics that are happening, and your shorts. Shorts are really trending now. They're in trend, especially the corporate shorts, the formal short. They have the shorter one. They have the mid short. They have all sorts of shorts that you can think
But at
of.
the end of the day, they are shorts.
They're shorts.
Would you wear them? I mean, these trendy items.
I could only wear the shorts. It does the one that goes over
the one that-
But that
knees.
is a Bermuda, then it's
Yes.
long.
That one I can wear. I really love it. But the short one, no, I wouldn't.
Because that one at least is like a skirt.
Yeah, it's like a
Sometimes they
skirt.
go with a jacket.
Yes, yes.
So you are more informal or formal?
I am.
Or a mix?
Well, it's not really. I think I'm very casual and comfortable when it comes to my style. I would always go for something that's really comfortable. Like, I don't want to be coming into a place and I'm squeezed and I cannot
Yes.
move, or I'm busy trying to fix myself. Whatever it is that I wear, it really needs to be comfortable, but also it needs to be very presentable. For every occasion, I always go online and I write the name of the occasion and I look, okay, this is how you have to present yourself for this occasion.
What would you say for our audience right there? They are trying to figure out what is their style. How do they get to the point to know their style, what would work for them, what would not work for them?
I think the first thing that you need to look at is your personality, the type of the person that you are, and also is your body physique, like your size and all of that falls under that. You really need to know which one is appropriate for me, which one is appropriate for my body. And I know some people would actually want to argue this point and say, if you love yourself, everything is appropriate for you. And that's okay for them. But I think if you really want to find your style, you need to be in reality that not everything is appropriate for everybody. Whether you're slim, you thick, you tall, you long, you really, really need to know. And also, most importantly, you need to look at your age.
Yeah.
You can be wearing a denim short that shows a bit of your bums at the back when you are in your 40s. For me, that would never make sense. I think it's very important to look at that as well.
The body shape.
The body
Does it
shape
go-
as well.
yes,
The
yes.
body shape as well. And that's one thing that I've learned in Godlywood. I didn't know my shape. That's one thing I learned in Godlywood, because I
Yes.
remember the first thing that I had to figure out after I figured out everything else on my own was my body shape. But also you need to know that your body shape changes over your age. So in some way you can always need to change your style a bit, but you don't really have to go buy new things. And another thing that I've learned in Godlywood, you could always style one thing in a
Yes, you
very
can.
multiple
Yeah.
way.
So you don't need to have a full wardrobe.
Yeah.
But that, let us be honest, it's easier to do when you have sustainable clothes.
That's
you
true.
cannot do that with fashion.
That's true.
And another thing that you mentioned, Godlywood, it's interesting. When you look back from the time you were in Godlywood and the things you've learned, and in the industry now you are in, do those things help you like with the work you are doing, the things that you learned from Godlywood?
Yes, I think for me, when I really look back, a lot of things I've learned from there. There was a time where I was telling my mom was looking at me and be like, "Oh, you're a classic woman. You don't look like
Wow.
your age anymore." And I was like, you would be surprised that a lot of things, the type of nails you put on, how you put on your hair, how you dress up, those things I've learned from Godlywood. And I don't think I would have known them, because in a fashion industry, they don't teach you how
Yeah.
to dress. They just present everything to you and you decide, what is it that I want?
So that proves that being a Christian woman, we are not going to say you should not take care of yourself, you should not dress up. But we try to find the proper way. Toko, I have a question for you.
Yes, Mrs. Vance.
During the time of modeling, was there anything that was shown to you that you said no?
Yes.
That you had to because you were bound by a contract, but you felt bad because that was not in you?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it really happened. I remember we were going for, I think there was Miss Brotherhood somewhere there, but before that we were told that we are going to use skinny jean, but nothing under. Yes, skinny jean. They were called Sissy Boy, I
Yeah,
think.
Sissy Boy.
Sissy Boy. We were going to use the, but it has to be really on your, but with nothing. And then there was a time that I'm not going to say the company, I was going to model for them. Then they were going to put on a billboard, and then I was going to wear a swimming costume. Only that. So everybody who passes anywhere would see that. So I sat down with them and I told them that this I cannot, because though I wasn't in the Universal Church, remember I was in another church. I grew up in a church and they didn't know that I was doing modeling. They didn't know at all. I would make sure that they don't know, because it was a shame at home. So when I told them because of this, because of that, then they said, you didn't look at the contract.
Sure.
Then I'm like, what am I going to do? You know, they said the contract, you did not read it well, because all this is there. You could have just said no that time, but now you are bound to the contract. I was so confused. I was about to stop everything, but also I had a contract of 10 years. My aunt had paid 10 years. It was money that she paid for. So I remember that time they used to have a shop called Sales House. We had Topics. I don't know if you know. I think you don't remember. There was Sales House and Topics. I was modeling for them. I would get free clothes. Then I'm like, what am I going to do? Thank God that the one of the swimming costume I did not do, but the one of the Sissy Boy, I had to do it. But at the end of the day, I wasn't happy about it.
It was not.
Because it was not who I am or who I was. So I was really not happy. You know that thing, you do something, but when you go home, you are full of regrets. That was...
To help you not to go to that, we have prepared some tips for you to understand your style, for you to bring your style according to your age, to your lifestyle, and to dress in a much better way.
Now it's time for a little fun. Let's find out how you can dress for your age and your lifestyle. The teen years. Confidence is key. While the right clothes can boost confidence, it is crucial to prioritize comfort and wear what makes you feel good. Proper fit is vital. To create visually appealing outfits, consider the short over long or long over short approach. For instance, pair a crop jacket with a maxi dress. These combinations create balance and add an interesting dimension to your overall look. Balance your figure. Know your body type and what flatters you. Experiment with color. Find out what works best for you. And experiment with different styles. Ensure that you are comfortable in the clothes that you are wearing and that they fit you well. The 20s. Your 20s are a period of self-discovery and exploration, and your fashion choices can be an extension of this journey. It's easy in this decade to pull off fitted clothing. Wearing fitted clothing can be a great way for your personal style. However, it is important to find pieces that fit comfortably and flatter your body type. What to consider? This is the time of your life when you'll have job interviews, attend lots of weddings, baby showers, and lots of other big life events. Invest in a few quality pieces, like some classic heels in black or nude, that you can wear to weddings and interviews. A tailored blazer you can wear with pants or a skirt or a dress to an interview. And a really nice coat or suede leather jacket you can wear during the cooler months. Important tip, you must be able to move freely in the clothes that you wear. Bold jewelry, colorful scarves, and trendy bags are a fantastic way to inject personality into your wardrobe. The 30s. As you enter your 30s, it's common to have a more established career and a clearer sense of personal style. Invest in quality basics. As you enter into your 30s, it becomes crucial to prioritize quality over quantity when it comes to your wardrobe. Is a wise decision as these pieces are versatile and can last for years. Although neutral colors are timeless and classic, it's important to not shy away from adding pops of color to your wardrobe. Incorporating a bold statement coat or vibrant blouse can bring a fun and youthful touch to your look. Invest in stylish yet practical options to ensure comfort throughout the day. The 40s. It's important to shift your focus towards acquiring classic pieces that will retain their relevance and appeal over the long term. Items such as trench coats, blazers, cashmere sweaters. These enduring staples are suitable for a variety of occasions and can effortlessly transition from casual to formal settings. Accessories. An eye-catching necklace or a striking handbag. Stay away from oversized clothes, but choose clothes that fit, as well as pieces that have structure instead of clingy and thin fabrics. This will actually make you look slimmer and accentuate the best parts of your figure. These are the fashion tips to consider according to your age.
So I hope you have enjoyed those tips, and of course, doing your research, you can find so much more. What matters is that you are truthful to your personality and to whom you represent. This is what we are going to invite her to speak a bit about how you reconcile fashion industry and being a woman of God, being a child of God.
I think it's very important to always stand by your values and let people know who you are and what you represent. You can never say you're a child of God, but your image is representing something else. When you have people outside, I'm not even comparing us to those people. I'm just trying to set some light within you that there are people who are proud of who they are, who are proud of their image. It doesn't matter where they are, they still represent their God. So why would it be impossible for me to represent my own God?
So do you believe that a woman of God should dress up?
Yes, you can. It's possible. There are a lot of elegant and covering clothes that women of God can actually buy. For example, your dresses, they're very beautiful.
Thank you.
But let me ask you
not-
something. Do you really think that those who want to be trendy, they want to cover themselves?
It's not even about covering yourself or not covering yourself. I'll tell you right now, the dress you're dressing right now, it's trendy. It can never fall under core. It's a fashion dress. I think you pick your own fashion. You pick your own style that can represent you. I mentioned another religion that dresses for themselves. They cover themselves. But if you could go on Instagram, if you could go, you would still see that they dress up so beautifully, so well, so classic, so elegant. It doesn't matter what you wear, whether it's covering or not, but you can always pick your own fashion.
As a woman of God, what advice would you give them in terms of their style, their dressing code, makeup?
Like I said, just know who you are and always present God in whatever you do. You cannot only be a woman of God that talks about God but doesn't represent the image of God. The way you dress also needs to speak to people who you are, the kind of person that you are. There are people that would even say to me, oh, I wanted to give you this, but I know that you can't show up your cleavage. And that's what happens in most cases. It's because I've let those people know the kind of person that I am. I've let those people know that this is a style that I like and this is a style that I do not like. But if you're always shy and you always want to fit in, you'd even confuse people to the point where if they want to buy you something, they'll just buy you anything. And like I said before, that my mom used to allow me to wear everything. I had to tell my mom, no, I cannot wear this anymore. And that was when I first joined Godlywood.
Yes.
And my mom was like, but why? You're still young. And I'll tell my mom, no, I cannot wear this anymore. And I remember there was a time where she teased me. She was like, you need to start finding your job so that you buy your own things. Because I'm tired of getting you beautiful things and then you're telling me you don't want them. But it's funny because my mom was very, very presentable. I even look at her pictures. I think for her, it was allowing her children to be themselves at the end of the day.
Do you think that standing for what you believe in a so controversial industry like the fashion industry, because you make your choices very selective, you are losing in the market in comparison to other professionals?
That's true. There are a lot of things that you would never achieve at the end of the day because of your values and because of your beliefs. There are certain even companies that you would not even want to work for because of what you believe in. And also it goes back to you being a model. It's even worse you're a model when you're a model because you have to allow them to do whatever it is to your body because you're getting paid. I remember when I was showcasing for a fashion show, they don't even have dressing room. They're there in the line and you only wear an underwear, a very open at the back underwear. You change in front of everyone and it's normal in the modeling industry. It is very normal to do that. But you could see some model, they don't like it. They don't want that. But I think it's a point of a lot of times that in as much as it's your passion, the devil would always want to use that to bring you down, would want to use that thinking that it's still fashion, it's still my passion at the end of the day, but you're not even realizing that the devil is using it against you, is using it to actually throw you closer to him.
So if you one day you would have to make a choice, would you compromise your values and your position as a child of God for a promotion or more exposure in your career?
No, I'd never. And the reason why I'm not even doubtful to say that, I always say the reason that I'm here, it's because of God. And the reason that I'm still here, it's because of God. There were a lot of people, even in the fashion industry, who've gave up. Even the things that I am to find, it's because of God. I'm walking this journey with God. If I decide for any reason that I want to do this without God's consent, it means I'll be walking this journey alone. And the reality is you won't walk it alone. The devil will come and walk it with you.
So I think we could summarize a style for women of God in respective of color, in respective of age, I think we could summarize in being discreet. There is a special beauty when one is able to be presentable, but discreet. It brings respect, no matter the age, but it brings respect. And I know the youth, they go all the way into fashion because they want to fit in. And they don't know the power of being discreet, how much more they would call attention for the right thing. What advice would you give to women out there who are torn in between the way they think they need to project their image and the reality of wanting to be a woman of God?
I think the best advice that I would give them, and that's what I did, over everything else, always choose God. Irregardless of the situation, make sure that you choose God, because at the end of the day, when things are hard, fashion won't be there with you. It's God that's going to be there with you, not even your mother, not even your sister, not your pastor's wife, not your pastor. It'll always be you and God. And like I said, for me, I've always walked this journey with God. There were so many troubles that I've faced throughout this journey. Even now, there are certain issues that I go through this journey. And even though I go through them, I know that I always overcome, because for me to be here, it was God. I did not come here because of myself. So whatever it is, you know within yourself, you know within your heart what's right and what's wrong. You decide for yourself. I can never tell you that wearing a short is wrong. If you feel that it's right within your heart, go ahead and do it. But the reality, you know the truth.
True.
So, she has given you a lot to think. First of all, sometimes we put up excuses. And is it really necessary? Second, God first. And check what suits you or what it doesn't. Toku, you quit modeling because at a certain stage, it did not suit you anymore.
Yes, Miss Mas. I remember when she spoke about that, I just remembered myself. I remember when I went to the pastor to tell him that I need him to pray for me because I want to stop what I was doing. Then he asked, of course he knew what I was doing, because people would see me whenever I would come to church. I would have a bag with a portfolio and everything to pray for it. And the pastor, first thing he asked me, did someone pursue you to tell you that you are not allowed to model anymore? I said, no, Pastor, it's myself. I just felt like I don't fit in anymore. This is not me anymore. I don't have even appetite for it, because when I was growing up, I had appetite of that kind of
Passion
life.
for modeling.
Exactly. I loved it because I started with beauty pageants, you know. Yeah, when I was young. And then when I was around 17, that's when I went into modeling through my aunt. So I just quit. I just told myself, I know it's not going to be easy, because first of all, the person who put me into modeling paid for me. I was signed with Pepper Dolls in Port Elizabeth. So she had already paid money. And I told my aunt, who's in Pretoria, that I have quit. I don't want any more. And I could see the disappointment in her face, Miss Massa, honestly. But I told her, I said, Makas, I am going to pay you back. Just give me time. When I work, I am going to pay you back, because it was her money. I had to do something, but nobody forced me. It was something that came from me, and I told myself, this is no longer me.
But from that modeling to who you are today, you still like to dress up.
I do. I remember when we went for the youth event, one of the girls came. We were together.
Yeah.
Yes. Then this girl came to me. I was even laughing. She was like, oh, I need to talk to you. And then I'm like, what? And then she said, you know what? I love the way you dress. You have proven to me that you don't need to be naked in order for you to look beautiful. You know, and I didn't know she's from here in Park Station. Yeah.
That's the point. Would you agree that sometimes being discreet and dressing up so well, you end up calling more attention than those who are training out there with some outfits that we are not going to get into judgment to, but we know the difference.
That's true. I think in most cases, we all attract attention, but it's different. some people would look at it and be like, that's too much. And the other attention would be like, oh, that's beautiful. Because the lady that came to you is actually telling the truth. When I joined God Word, when we used to attend meeting, I used to look at Pastor's wife and I used to be like, oh, that is so beautiful. That is so discreet. I would even look at certain items and I'd be like, I wonder where do they buy their clothes. For some reason, I thought you guys had your own stores where you buy your own things.
You would be surprised to hear.
Yes. I would look at something and I'd be like, I really, really like this. And sometimes even when I'll be scrolling on Facebook, I'll show my mom and I'll be like, I want this. And my mom would be like, no, this is for old people. You're still young. You're still young.
Now you're going to be surprised that God himself, through one of the apostles, give us a hint, a guideline about fashion. Do you believe? God's pointing this.
Now it's time for God's point in this.
So those are the words of Apostle Peter. And of course, if it's in the Bible, it has God's approval. He says like this, do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. In other versions, it says braiding the hair. And in Africa, we know very well what it is, isn't that? But there is one kind and the other kind. Then he finishes, rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart, with incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. Did you pick God's hint for your fashion style? He's not saying here that he is against dressing up, makeup, adorning yourself with gold or bijou or whatever you can afford to. Do it, but do it in a way that you bring about the beauty that is inside, outside. Dressing up will not make you beautiful inside. But when you have this gentle and quiet spirit, that beauty will flow outside and your choices will bring glory to God. And you become precious in His eyes. You become complimented by other women. You become noticed wherever you go. And they know there must be something different in you. So we are not here disputing, use this, use that. As Mbalenche wisely said, do it according to what is in your heart. But know that when you bring about the beauty that is inside of you, this gentle and quiet spirit, you are going to be noted. You're going to be the highlight wherever you go. And you will be able to say, as she did, I do it because I'm a child of God. And there, God will be glorified. Toko, what it all matters in our show today?
Now it's time for what it all means.
What all this means, for me, I'll put it in one word first. Mbalenhle, when she started, she spoke about it. Mrs. Marcia, towards the end, you spoke about it, discretion. And even the Bible says, discretion shall preserve you. You know, as a woman of God, you have to learn to be discreet in the way you dress because you represent God. Wherever we are as women of God, we represent God. We are His representative. He is not there, but people see Him in us. So we have to do that. And you know, people will see. You know, people can tell when you are a true woman of God or it's just a camouflage for you. People tell. So you, as you are there at home, as Mbalenhle said, she won't tell you what to dress. You have to decide yourself. What I can say now is that go to your wardrobe, open your wardrobe and look at your clothes and look at them one by one. Ask, does this represent God? Does this represent a woman of God? If not, you have the answer because we can't tell you how to dress, but your conscience is going to tell you. So as a woman of God, you want to represent God in a way that will bring glory to his name, because we can bring glory to the name of God with the way we dress. It's not only praying and praising God, but the way we dress, and people will respect us. There are people who are not respected because of the way they dress. And there are people who are respected because of the way they dress. Before they even open their mouths, people want to hear what they're about to say.
It's true.
Today's show came with professional consultancy and with homework. Open your wardrobe and check if that relates to your lifestyle, your personality, your values, and if that represents God. Do you accept the challenge? So that you embark in this challenge and you become the woman of God who's happy about herself and really brings glory to God. I'm going to ask Imbalenche, who is an assistant, to pray for you. Shall we pray?
My Lord and my Father, we thank you so much for what you have taught us today. Now, my Lord, it is up to us to decide what is it that's right and what that is not right, my God. Through the Holy Spirit, you have spoken to each one of us. May you give us strength, Nkosi yami Baba, for whatever decision